Flirting is a skill that few people have. Often, people get scared or don't know what to do. When you finish watching this video, you'll be ahead of many others. The main goal when you're talking to a girl is to make her feel at ease. Only when she's comfortable does the fun begin. If she thinks you're creepy, there's no point in flirting because she'll want to get away. So, how can we make her feel less nervous and start flirting? 1. Think like a team. If you can align your thoughts with hers, she'll calm down and let her guard down. How do you do that? Use the environment. If you're talking to her in a classroom, talk about the teacher, for example. If the teacher is being annoying, you could say something like, she's having a midlife crisis. That'll make her laugh and reduce her anxiety. No matter the setting, you can always think as a team. If you're in a restaurant, use the waiter. If you're in a club or bar, use some weird guy or comment on a picture on the wall or some decoration item. Something simple, not too intimidating. Lean back and give her space and time to think. Don't show too much interest. Use all these tricks to reduce her anxiety. If you do that, you'll see that she's comfortable and we can move on to the next step. 2. Compliment properly. Many guys still compliment women the wrong way. They often skip the crucial first step, which is to assure the woman that you're not a weirdo or a creep. If you don't do that, the compliment will be seen as a desperate attempt. I say this often, but it's really important to remember. When you give a compliment, it has to be original. Here's what you shouldn't say: "You're beautiful," or "You have beautiful eyes." She hears that too often and sees it in movies. You can compliment her eyes, but give it an original twist. For example, "That shade of blue I've never seen before, it's amazing," even if she has normal blue eyes. The point is to make the compliment stand out. Another common mistake when giving a compliment is doing it too often. The more compliments you give, the less value they have. Don't throw compliments around randomly, and if she tries to fish for compliments, don't give them. It's a tool you should use tactically. If you do it right, you'll already be in a good position as someone she enjoys being around. While watching these videos, I know you're not one of those losers who think they already know everything. Even if you've only watched one video on this channel, you still clicked on it, and that shows you have a spark within you to start improving. You've already shown the willpower. All you need is a path. I've created 10 modules that you can see as stairs. Each module or step will explain exactly step by step how to get to the top, from achieving ultimate masculinity, advanced testosterone optimization, conquering women, mastering the value exchange game to real methods of making money, and much more. I've literally laid the foundation for you to become muscular, attractive, wealthy, and socially high status. You don't lack motivation, just knowledge and confidence in the path you're taking. You can keep getting lost in the endless cycle of following paths that lead nowhere, or click the link in the description below. 3. Body language. When you're talking to a girl, your body language is very important. If you lean in and act super interested, she'll feel anxious. Being too close makes her feel like you're desperate. So, you should lean back and relax. If she knows you're not that interested and not actively listening, she'll be much more comfortable, making the conversation easier. If you touch her, do it super gently. Again, her anxiety will spike if you touch her aggressively or do it without warning. Here's what you should keep in mind. If you're going to touch her, timing is everything. Tell a joke, make her laugh, and you can lightly touch her leg or shoulder. There, you've broken the touch barrier. Don't overdo it, but occasionally do it because it creates a connection subconsciously. Another great tip for tall men is to sit down. Get on her level. That way, she won't feel as intimidated by you. It always comes back to the same principle. Is she comfortable? Yes? Great, that's the goal. 4. Ride her mood waves. Gentlemen, this one is quite simple, but we don't often use it correctly. If she doesn't seem very happy or even a little sad, don't approach her as if you're the happiest man in the world. Women are emotional creatures, and if you don't play along with that, you've already lost the game. I say game because it is a game, it's a real skill. If she's sad, you're sad, even if you're not. Don't try to solve her problems, she doesn't even want that. I know, it's not logical, but that's how the game works. She just wants you to listen to her, and yes, that's all you need to do. It's super easy to cheer them up when they're down. Just reaffirm what she's saying in the opposite sense and ask questions. Personal, intimate, engaging questions. I know this can be really boring, and I also recommend avoiding her if she's always unhappy and sad. You don't want that energy in your life. I want to put a little more emphasis on not trying to solve her problems. She'll break you instead. 5. Act like her dad. Another chapter title that makes you think, why should I act like her dad? Because that's all she sees and knows about relationships, or at least a big part of it. A great way to give her a fatherly energy is simply to say one word. You know which word? Sure, it's you know. Say you know when she asks for certain things and don't dare to apologize afterward. This is the best way to give her a paternal energy, and she'll love it if you're the only guy who doesn't try to get her drunk. She'll respect that, and again, it's the opposite of being desperate. 6. Show confidence. You can do all the chapters perfectly and still fail if you're insecure. You always have to be confident, but what if you're not confident? Well, then you're not ready. Work on yourself, go through some serious experiences, and you'll quickly realize that talking to girls isn't hard. You also need to realize that they're 10 times more insecure than you. If they're not, well, that's a statistical miracle. And if you still don't have confidence, I recommend trying to flirt with women you're not attracted to. This should develop your flirting skills quite a bit. If you recoil when it's an attractive girl, at least interact with more attractive girls daily. It's not rocket science, the skill requires time and effort. 7. Flirt with other girls. Wow, isn't flirting with other girls toxic? It depends on the situation. If you don't know each other well and aren't dating, then it's perfectly acceptable to flirt with other girls. It's even better when you do it early on. Why? Because it quickly reduces her anxiety, as other girls are showing interest. Girls trust other girls for some reason. She won't see you as a creep and will be interested to know who you are. 8. Putting everything you've learned into practice. This video is a real treasure trove of valuable dating information. However, it's useless if you can't put it into practice. The best way to do this is by going to house parties. Super easy, as you can actually talk to the person, but you can also shift the focus to other things. You can easily observe everyone's body language and work together with your friends to make everything fun. Make sure the ratio is at least 1:1. Otherwise, she'll have difficulty feeling comfortable. Other great places are work and school. It's super easy to work as a team. If you have the skills, you should stand out easily. If you're not practicing flirting with women as much as you can, you're wasting valuable time learning this skill. The game is something that comes with practice and the right information. If you have a group of friends who aren't interested in girls, find another group to hang out with and practice the skill. Of course, I'm not saying to ditch the first group. You can have multiple groups of friends. One place I personally would avoid is clubs. I tried this as one of my first thoughts. I'll go to a club, I'll dance with some girls. It's really hard to talk to girls there, and they're usually not the type of women you'd want to have a relationship with. It's not attractive to have to shout in her ear. However, you can go to clubs with women you already know. That's completely acceptable and quite fun. So, I'm not personally a big fan of clubs, but they're fun. Now, flirting with women in clubs is mostly non-verbal, but that's for another video. Don't bombard her with too much attention. You've probably heard that if something's worth doing, it's worth giving your full attention. Well, that doesn't apply to women, especially if you want to show her that you have high value. If you do that, you'll seem creepy, and there's nothing sophisticated about being creepy. So, are you always at her disposal and think she'll love you for it? Well, I've been in that situation before, and I can assure you that you'll only receive as much love as her dog or cat, nothing more. See, the attention of a high-value man is like gold dust. It's harder to find and even harder to keep, and she knows that. So, the next time she shows up, don't keep talking and jumping. That signals low value. A high-value man doesn't engage so quickly in her world. So, here's the trick. Sometimes, withdraw your attention momentarily, do something else, let her see that you have your own life, and that your attention is valuable and shouldn't be taken for granted. Control your emotions and presence. I used to believe that women liked vulnerable men who showed their feelings all the time and didn't care if someone called them weak. Every time something bad happened, I poured my heart out and hoped that girls would console me. Trust me, it's not a good look. It's not just low value, it's unclassy. It took me a while to see what was really going on. See, high-value men are masters of emotional control. These people could be dealing with a storm inside, but you'd never see a glimpse of that on their faces. In fact, emotions are tools in their hands, used to open wallets and forge connections. Yes, these people use emotions, but they don't let emotions use them. After I learned to control my emotions, it was time to learn to control something else. See, high-value men have a certain presence that is truly magnetic. People are drawn to them. There's an aura of fascination that sets them slightly apart from the crowd. It's in every movement, every gesture, every glance, and every word. That's how it's done. When you enter a room, be attentive to every step, every glance, every word, and don't go straight to her. If she doesn't come, use bait, make your presence scarce so it's hard to see you, and whenever she sees you, make sure you're at your best and in control. Gather lots of experiences. Much about being high value is like real estate, it's about location. High-class people are globetrotters, not mere tourists. They've been to places, know various cultures, and love having new experiences. And what does that do for them? Well, it helps capture the attention and respect of the kinds of girls you can only dream of. They're so interesting to talk to and be around. They know many interesting things, and that makes them seem sophisticated. So, if you want to catch her attention and keep it for a long time, you need to know many interesting things, you need to have exciting experiences to share. If it's not that, then what do you want to talk to her about? Your boring day at work or stories about your annoying neighbors? No girl wants to hear about regular things that happen every day all the time. They want something different, so be the difference. Be high value by gathering different experiences that you can share. Create happiness around you. Creating your own happiness is the hallmark of a high-value man. In an era where many rely on others for pleasure and let external factors dictate their joy, be different. You don't want to be the guy who needs her to be happy. You've probably heard many men say, she's my happiness, and think that's a good thing. Well, it can be a good thing, but it's not high class. A high-value person is in control when it comes to happiness. High-value men don't need anyone to create their happiness. They're the ones who create happiness for those around them. So, ask yourself, does she want to be happy? Of course she does, everyone does. Well, then you have a job to do. In the few times you appear around her, give her a happy moment. A man who brings happiness today is like an oasis in the desert. How valuable is that oasis? Well, I don't need to say, but it's highly valuable. So, we're halfway through the video. Why don't you click the subscribe button to support the channel? Do the same for the like button if you're enjoying the video. All done? Let's get back to the list. Be graceful in your manners. Firstly, elegance is not synonymous with wealth. It's an attitude, a reputation, and how you interact with the world. Elegant people can always find money, but not everyone who has money can find elegance. Elegance is being polite, graceful, and hospitable. It's in the attention to detail and how you present yourself, from attire to even your perfume. Look at it this way. Everyone who sees you, including that girl you want, will want to know who you are and if it's worth approaching or responding. They're looking for clues in your interactions and appearance. You can also appear elegant if you appreciate fine arts, and here's the kicker. Many people who may not particularly care about the beauty of art still buy it, even if it's on eBay. Why? Because they understand something that most people don't. Art not only enriches your life, but it demonstrates elegance, and girls love elegance. Be flexible. Flexibility is often misunderstood. It doesn't mean being a doormat. It's not about letting people walk all over you. It's understanding that the most obvious way to handle a situation isn't always the best way. It's recognizing that the world isn't simply black or white. It's a spectrum of different shades. A rigid personality simply indicates that you don't like growth, and trust me, women can pick up on that. To truly embody the qualities of a high-value man, you need to be flexible. For example, when someone insults you, you don't need to get into a fight right there. Being macho has its place too. You can find ways to respond while maintaining your dignity. You don't want to lose your dignity over a few foolish words. Be polite. It's not just about learning the basics in school, it's about how you behave in the company of your peers. That's why the wealthy often send their children to expensive boarding schools. Surrounded by peers of similar status, wealth ceases to be the most important thing. Believe it or not, no girl wants to spend her life with a man who doesn't know how to behave among high-value people. She might like a guy from the street for a while, but eventually she'll learn to dislike him. Be polite so you can hold your own in a room full of men of substance, so you can sustain yourself wherever you go. Learn the art of etiquette, how to converse without interrupting others, the importance of courtesy, and how to use common ground to build lasting bonds. If you're after a high-value woman, she'll want these traits. As some would say, a real recognize real. Protect your reputation. When it comes to class, your reputation is your most valuable asset. After all, you shouldn't and can't always explain yourself. You don't want to boast, so what else will speak for you? Your reputation. Your name should have more value than anything you've ever bought. This is the final stage when you've followed everything we've discussed. After you've built yourself up so she sees that you're a high-value man, you need to work to maintain that reputation at all costs. Money can be earned back, but once your reputation is tarnished, it's gone. With these 8 qualities, she'll see that you're special without you needing to say anything. So, work on yourself. If you have any questions, ask in the comments, we love to help. And you can learn more in the next video. Now, let's talk about these qualities in an easy-to-understand way.